Welcome to my channel. This is the scariest thing that has ever happened to me. I grew up in the south of England in a nice village surrounded by fields. It was very quiet where we lived, so quiet that we didn't even have street lights. One summer evening, when I was about 16, my friends and I decided to go down to the village center and get some food at our favorite kebab shop. The village center wasn't very far away, only about a mile or so, but it was very dark because there were no street lights. So we decided to take flashlights with us just in case. We got to the kebab shop, had some food, and then started walking back home. As we were walking through this field, my friends and I started telling scary stories, trying to scare each other. Then all of a sudden we heard some footsteps behind us. We turned around and shone our lights behind us but couldn't see anything. My friends and I carried on walking, and then we started hearing the footsteps again. They were getting louder and closer. My friends and I started running, and then tripped over the uneven ground. Scrambling to our feet, we started running faster. Then all of a sudden we heard what sounded like screams in the forest nearby. We didn't dare look back and kept running until we got home. We thought it must have been a dog or something, so we just shrugged it off and went to bed. But the next day we found out that someone had been missing for 3 weeks, and they hadn't been found yet. The person was last seen near the field that we had been walking through. Now, obviously, we were freaked out by this, so we told everyone in school what had happened, and most people said that we must have been imagining things. Then one day at school, my friend was telling this story to some kids from his drama class, and they suggested that he wrote it into a play. He did, and then one of the teachers saw it and took an interest in it. The teacher offered to help them put on a full production of the play, and even said that we could use the school's drama studio for rehearsals. So we started rehearsing after school. One afternoon, me and my friends were walking past the field where we had seen the footsteps, when we started hearing footsteps behind us. We turned around and shone our torches behind us, but we couldn't see anything. Then we heard a loud bang in the bushes. We ran as fast as we could to the other side of the field, then stopped to catch our breath. We were scared but also a bit excited because this was exactly like the story that we were writing the play about. We carried on walking towards the school, but then all of a sudden we started hearing the footsteps again. They were coming from everywhere around us. We started running again. But then one of my friends fell over in the long grass and twisted his ankle. So we sat down and waited for the footsteps to stop. Then we started walking again. When we got to the school, we locked the doors and didn't let anyone out. We told all the other students and teachers what had happened, but they all just thought we were making it up for attention. That night, my parents drove me to the school, so I wouldn't have to walk home alone. On the way to the school, my dad stopped at a shop to get me some water. While my dad was in the shop, I looked at my phone, and I received a text from one of my friends. It said, "I'm not going to rehearsal tomorrow. I don't feel well." I thought it was weird that he would send me a text message instead of calling me, so I phoned him. His mom picked up and I asked if everything was okay. She said that he had gone to bed early because he wasn't feeling well. I thought it was strange that he would be texting people if he was unfeeling well enough to come to rehearsal. The next day I got to school early to start practicing my lines. I was in the drama studio by myself when I started hearing footsteps outside the window. I looked out and I could have sworn that I saw a pair of legs walking past the window. Then I saw the same pair of legs running past the window as fast as they could. Then I heard a loud bang and I ducked down thinking that maybe something had hit the window. Then I started hearing the footsteps again, and they were right outside the door. I hid under the table in the corner of the room while I heard the footsteps slowly walk past the door and then run away. I stayed under the table until the school bell rang, and then I came out and started rehearsing my lines. That's when I realized that my phone was missing. I had left it on the table when I hid, and now it was gone. I told the teacher what had happened, and she helped me look for it. But when we looked under the table, there was no sign of it. Then she said that we should go and tell the head teacher. On the way to the head teacher's office, I started hearing footsteps again. We walked into her office and explained what had happened. She agreed to let me go home early again, so she walked with me to my locker so I could get my stuff. We started walking out of the school together, when all of a sudden I started hearing footsteps behind us. We turned around, but it was too dark to see anything. Then we heard a loud bang and I screamed. The head teacher screamed as well and started running. I started running after her, but then she disappeared. I started hearing the footsteps again, and I started running in the direction of home. I was so scared that I didn't notice that I had crossed the road. Then I heard a car horn and I looked up and saw that I had just ran in front of a car. The driver wound down his window and shouted, "What are you doing? Look where you're going." I apologized and ran the rest of the way home. When I got home, I told my mom everything that had happened. She was really scared for me, but she just thought that I was making it up for attention. That night I couldn't sleep because I was so scared that something would get me while I was walking home from school. In the morning, my mom drove me to school and dropped me off at the gates. I walked through the gates into the drama studio. I was so nervous that I started shaking. I spent all day hiding in the drama studio and refused to go anywhere else. After school, I called my friend to ask him why he hadn't come to rehearsal. He told me that he wasn't feeling well, so he was staying at his grandma's house. I asked his mom if I could come over and check on him, but she said that I would have to ask her husband first. She put her husband on the phone and he said, "No, I don't want you coming over. You stay at school." I was scared, but I had to go home somehow. So I left school and started walking home. As I was walking home, I started hearing footsteps behind me. I turned around and shone my torch behind me, but I couldn't see anything. I started running, but then I heard a loud bang and I fell over. Scrambling to my feet, I started running faster. Then I tripped over and fell onto the floor. Bruised and bleeding, I tried to stand up, but that's when I saw the footsteps behind me. They were very close now and getting closer. I started screaming for help, but nobody came. That's when I remembered my flashlight. I quickly turned it on and shone it in front of me. That's when I saw a pair of legs running towards me. Then I saw a face. It was my friend. He had blood all over his clothes, and he was holding a knife. I screamed, but he put his finger to his lips. He mouthed. I was too scared to say anything. He grabbed my hand and pulled me away from the path. Then he dropped to one knee and said, "I need your help." He handed me the knife. "What do we do with this?" I asked, scared. He shook his head and pointed towards the bushes. I threw the knife into the bushes. We stood up and we walked past the school in silence. At the end of the day, I've never been so scared in my entire life. Now, years later, I still remember my heart pounding as I ran through the field, terrified of what was behind me. And even now, the memory of that face and those lifeless eyes sends shivers down my spine. It feels like yesterday. And sometimes I still look over my shoulder when I walk home alone at night. But even in the darkest moments, I'm grateful that I survived that ordeal. Thank you for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe for more scary stories. Hope you have a good night, and I'll see you next time.